Namo Narayana, 24th October 2020. Today is the month of Aipasi, which falls between 16th October and 15th November. On today, 24th October, is Aipasi Thiruvonam, and tomorrow is Aipasi Avittam, and day after tomorrow is Aipasi Sadayam. What makes these 3 days important is, these are the 3 days which we had the incarnation of first 3 Azhwars, Mudal Aazhwaargal, Poigai Azhwar, Bhoodhath Azhwar, Azhwar. They incarnated in different places and they are all ionagers. That means they were just formed rather than through biological process. So ionagergal, then they congregate in Tirukkovilur on a particular day, which we also saw the same Purana when we discussed about Onam, Thiruvonam. So that is again, here it is important to bring that discussion back, because these 3 Azhwars, where they were incarnated much ahead of Kali Yuga, probably towards the last leg of Dwapara Yuga, and the purpose of their incarnation is to give the Vedas in Tamil. Now, why Vedas has to be given in Tamil? Because Vedas, we all know, is in Sanskritam, and reciting Vedas, which is a vast ocean, so if reading that has got first a lot of rules, reciting that has got a rules, and very important is the meanings are so intricate that even one syllable change can take us in a different path of understanding. So to understand the Vedas, to really learn, one needs to be extremely blessed to get the right learning. And as we know, across the 4 yugas, Kali Yuga is the least in terms of facilities to learn the Vedas in the right way. So we all know Nama Sankirtanam is the most important and the easiest way to keep remembering God, because every yuga had a primary path to reach the Perumal, Yaga, Yajnam and various other things. In Kali Yuga, all this is not possible because of the times here. So Nama Sankirtanam is the best. But doesn't mean that we lose out on the Vedas. So it was given in Tamil, and it is called Tamil Marai. Divya Prabandham, Nalayara Divya Prabandham is called Tamil Marai. Now, Vedam has got another, when we say Vedam, it has got, every concept has got different names. Vedam is also mentioned as Marai because it gives a lot of intricate meanings hidden into it. So, Marachu Kudukaradhanala Vedam, and that is where an Acharya becomes extremely important. It's not that we buy a book and start reading it by ourselves. We need to go to the right Acharya, pay our respects, and then seek learning knowledge from them. And by Acharya's divine blessings and the imparting the knowledge, we will be blessed. So that is the first thing. So for which there has to be a start. So these Azhwargal, Mudal Aazhwaargal, started giving the Divya Prabandham in Tamil. Later, the remaining other 9 Azhwars took it forward. So together, all 12 Azhwars works is called Nalayara Divya Prabandham, which is basically they have given Vedas in Tamil. That's why Tamil is called Tamil Marai. There are quite a few Sri Vaishnavas we come across who have the title Ubaya Vedanti or Uve, which basically means this. This Sreshta has knowledge on Sanskrit Vedam and Tamil Vedam, Ubaya Vedantam. So that is why we get the title as people, elderly scholars we see, Ubaya Vedanti, Uve, in the Swami, Krishnan Swami, Raman Swami and all that. That is because of they know both the Veda, Sanskrit Veda and Tamil Veda. Tamil Vedas is nothing but the Nalayara Divya Prabandham. Now these Mudal Aazhwaargal reach Tirukkovilur. We saw that there's a place that only one person can lie down, 2 people can sit comfortably, 3 can stand comfortably. When these 3 Azhwars assemble, they find the presence of a 4th person who is trying to making the standing bit uncomfortable because that has got very small room. Then they light up because it's pitch dark and it is raining overnight. So they need to light up to see who is the 4th person. And what do they use to light up? The first Azhwar uses the entire universe. Vayyam Tagaliya, Varkadale Niyaga, Vayyakadron Velakaga, Sayya Sudaradi, Yanadike Sutine, Solmala Deradi Ningave Endru. So he uses the Vayyam, the entire universe as Tagali. Tagali is Velaka. Varkadale Niyaga, the entire ocean as the ghee. Vayyakadron Velakaga. So the sun himself as the light. So that is what the Mudal Aazhwaargal uses. All the material things he uses to see Perumal. Now then he goes on to give 100 pasarams starting with this. So that's the Mudal Azhwars, Poigai Azhwars pasaram. Immediately Bhoodhath Azhwar, the second Azhwar, starts his pasaram saying, Anbe Tagaliya, Arvame Niyaga, Inburgu Sinde Idadiriya, Nanburgi Jnanachudar Velaketrane, Naranarku Jnanathamil Purindanan is the first pasaram Bhoodhath Azhwar starts. Now, the Poigai Azhwar has used all the material things in the world to see Perumal, so there's nothing left. So what happens is, Bhoodhath Azhwar starts using all things that is in his control. Anbe Tagaliya, my love to see Perumal itself is the Velakku. Arvame Niyaga, my excitement, my eagerness, my effort is the Nei. Inburgu Sindai Idadiriya, my thoughts about Perumal and Thayar, my thoughts about them is the Thiri. Jnana Chudar Velakketrinen, what is the Jnana? All his knowledge that is gained is what is the Chudar for saying Perumal. So this is very important to note that we can use material things to go and reach Perumal. See, there are a lot of people wealthy within courts who do a lot of physical kaingaryam by donating money, by donating probably even constructing a whole temple and all that. They go to many levels to show their bhakti and reach God. But there are people who may not be that wealthy within courts. So does it mean that they can't reach Perumal? No. It all boils down to finally every individual's arvam and anbu and the effort to see Perumal. So the Bhoodhath Azhwar explains that beautifully, saying, Anbe Tagaliya, Arvame Niyage, Inburgu Sinde Idadiriya, everything is in our control and doesn't cost a single rupee. So it is all these things, all we needed is to reach Perumal, is our own love and our own efforts to see Perumal in any form. So he shows himself in many ways. So when these two Azhwars have lit up with everything that is there, material and non-material, so Perumal is just going to show up. So obviously the third Azhwar immediately sees Perumal. So just as we do when we go to Perumal Koil, any Koil, and have darshan, the Vadhyar Swami is there, shows the Harati. But the Swami may not see the Perumal, but we are having the darshan of Perumal. So like this, here first two Azhwars are lighting up, the third Azhwar says this. So he starts his first 100 pasaram like this. Thirukkandeen, Ponmeni Kandeen, Thigalum Arukkani Niravum Kandeen, Serikalarum Ponnadi Kandeen, Purisangam Kai Kandeen, Ennadi Vannanpal Indru. So he first says Thiru. Very important is Thayar. The entire Sri Vaishnava lineage is about Acharya, Thayar and Perumal in that order. So we need the Acharyas. Acharyas will include Azhwars also when you do the lineage. So our Acharya is the first port of guidance. So our Acharya helps us with the knowledge. Then when we perform the act of Samashanam Bharanyasam as Sri Vaishnava, then he recommends us to Thayar. Thayar, with all her benevolence and love, accepts us and then recommends us to Perumal, and so that Perumal blesses us. So that's how this happens. So Perumal and Thayar are extremely important to be together. It is Sriman Narayana. One of the important things is we don't separate them at any time. And we don't go to Perumal directly. So the basic rules of worshipping in any Perumal Koil is, you enter the Kovil, you have the worship of all the Sannidhis of Azhwar Acharyas, other Sannidhis, then come to Andal, then come to Thayar, and then go to Perumal. By the time we reach Perumal, Andal and Thayar would have given enough recommendation to Perumal so that he blesses us. If you go directly, he is always going to look at all our sins that we have committed and he is going to be angry with us. So we don't do it. So we go to Perumal last, after going to Azhwars, Acharyas, Azhwars, Andal, Thayar, and then Perumal. Okay? So that is how here the Bhoodhath Poigai Azhwar sees Thiru first. Thirukkandeen, Ponmeni Kandeen. So we know the term Sri Vatsan as a name that we use. Vatsam is Thirumarbu, Sri is Thayar. So anytime we look at Perumal, we can be sure that his Thirumarbu has Thayar at that time. So when you light up and show Perumal first, you will definitely see Thayar. And when Periyalvar starts his Thirupallandu, Valamarbinal Valgindra Mangiyam Pallandu is what the term uses. So in this Valamarbu is the right chest, is always Thayar there. So here Periyalvar sees Thiru first. Thirukkandeen, Ponmeni Kandeen, Thigalum Arukkani Niravum Kandeen, Serikalarum Ponnadi Kandeen, Purisangam Kai Kandeen, Ennadi Vannanpal Indru. So this is how the Viprabandham started, by each of the three Azhwars giving 100 pasarams each. So they lit up for them to see Perumal, but this is the light they have given us and passed on to generations in Kali Yuga, so that using the Divya Prabandham as the light, and through Acharya's blessings, we can see Perumal and Thayar. So that is important for today to remember. Puratasi Thiruvonam, Aipasi Thiruvonam, Aipasi Avittam, Aipasi Sadayam. Mudal Aazhwaargal, first three Azhwars, Poigai Azhwar, Bhoodhath Azhwar, Poigai Azhwar. So with this light that the Azhwars have given to us, let us worship Sriman Narayana through the divine grace of our respective Acharyas. Our Acharya's Anugraham is more important. To understand the Azhwars Tamil Marai, using the Azhwars Tamil Marai, we will be blessed at the divine darshan and the protection of Sriman Narayana. Namo Narayana.